The City of Hagerstown is looking to a relatively new Main Street program to assist in the revitalization efforts. Henry, what can you tell us about this program?
Well, yeah, I did some looking up on things, and what we're actually trying to do is use a public-private effort to get the businesses that are downtown. They've had some working associations together, and the city has had a program. And it seems that whenever we have conflicting programs, we never get anywhere. So I think some of the businesses downtown approached the city, and the city saw the light. And we're trying to get on the same page and revitalize our downtown to build the businesses. So I really think it's a positive light, and the businesses and the administration should be given some credit for the efforts.
For sure, and I think it's great that there's a more collaborative effort now. It seemed like there were, they had the Downtown Movement and Downtown Alliance and Main Street Hagerstown, and they were all kind of working towards the same goal, but now there's more cooperation, collaboration, teamwork going on, and I think you're right, the future does look bright for Hagerstown.
So, I actually talked to Amanda Whitmore this week, who is the new downtown coordinator, and we're hoping to have she or Aaron or somebody from the city on at a future episode to talk more about this. But I tell you, the key for me is truly this public-private partnership, because groups like the Downtown Alliance and some others that have been active over the years, they've done little things that have all brought about positive change. The pop-up shops we've talked about on this panel for many segments, very positive change. Some of the people that work on the Blues Fest, that work on the August-Toberfest, that work on other initiatives downtown. To marry these groups together and look at it more in a strategic rather than a tactical presentation, I think makes perfect sense.
Oh, I agree.
And by the way, there's a lot, a lot of these people are volunteers.
Yes.
So we don't have to pay for them.
Even
We've
city
paid for
officials
enough
want it.
studies, and we've got a
Right.
great study now
Yeah.
that we already paid for, so let's get it implemented.
I agree. We need to do something. We had too many committees trying to fix downtown, and it's just cumbersome. And so, I know Melanie Anderson ran the alliance, and she did a good job. They pulled together. Now they're all going to work together with this Main Street Hagerstown. I love historical buildings, but if we're not using it, tear it down. Some people might slap me across the face, but there's a lot of empty buildings down there that's not being done with anything. They're just sitting there empty, and they're old, and they need lots of money to fix them up.
Well, that's the key, I think, is there's a difference between historical and old.
Yeah.
And I think that you can put architecture that's new into a city and make it look similar. Now, it may cost a little more, but I don't think you need to just keep every facade from every old building. I think we can do away with some of that, and frankly, there's some of them that need to be done away with.
We have some unique architecture downtown.
We do.
And, I'm not saying that we should raise the downtown.
No.
But at the same point, I think we have enough efforts here that, in design factor, we could have complementary features that go into the downtown that actually enhance. But the biggest issue is if you're going to be trying to build a downtown, you're trying to build something, you want to feel comfortable being down there. Okay? I've been in downtown Hagerstown, and I don't feel uncomfortable. Okay? I was down there last night for a friend's, he was moving out of the area. I was very comfortable walking around. Downtown is a lot better than what we envision it to be. Downtown is safe for the most part in the areas that we have currently under development and where the restaurants are at. It's a good place to go and visit, a good place to socialize.
So, the perception is there that the downtown is problematic, and I think in many cases it is a perception. And I think you're right. And I think but I also think the more businesses we can get downtown, the more people we can get downtown. I think BISFA and the Maryland Theater and the things we've already done have helped at least one block in a large way.
My family used to own a restaurant downtown, the Dutch Kitchen, back in the 1980s.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yes, we had the Dutch Kitchen. We bought it from the stalls. And downtown was very uncomfortable walking out of that kitchen at 10 o'clock at night when we closed down to the parking lot just on the other side of Sanders Cookie Jar. It was a very uncomfortable feeling. I don't know if I would feel that way today because it's better illuminated. There's more things happening in the downtown. And we have more businesses that are actually located downtown, which complements. But, at that point, it was the Dutch Kitchen and Sprankle Stew. and then a whole bunch of empty storefronts.
Right.
Okay, now look at downtown. Look at what we have. It's really an asset to our community.
So this new Main Street, number one, it's a national model, and it divides the process into 4 categories: business relations, design, promotion, and organization. And then Maryland has added a clean, safe, and green
Of course.
piece to the initiative.
forget
So
green.
apparently there are committees that are all working towards those individual elements that come together to present. So I think it's going to be an interesting process. Back to the perception, though, I will tell you one of the things that I just stumbled upon, and I'd known this in the back of my head, but when I was talking to somebody about this segment, they mentioned that there was a business that moved out of downtown because of perceived safety concerns and moved out of town, and a month later got robbed.
Oh,
But not downtown,
You
and
know-
had been downtown forever.
Little Palmetto?
So
I think, there was an article in the Herald Mail this morning actually that talked about how that crime, it really is simply perceived crime.
yeah.
That the rates are actually down a little bit in some areas. The crime rates are actually down a little bit in some areas. So I think that a large part of the battle is going to be combating that perceived danger, that's downtown. And I don't think that it helps either when you have public officials who are talking about, how they're afraid to walk downtown. It's sort of like the more that you repeat something, the more people are going to believe
And the
it.
problem is that's an election year. They want to increase the fear about that because that's a way for them to get elected.
But I think we have to look at our community, because in order to really appreciate downtown, you have to be comfortable going and parking on our parking decks. It's not parking on the street anymore. And a lot of our community, we have been spoiled that we can pull right up in front of the grocery store, or right in front of the jewelry store, or right in front of the restaurant, and we maybe have to walk 50 feet to get into the front door. Here, we're parking on a parking deck, and we have to do 200 feet to get to the door.
Right.
So, we've been a little spoiled and pampered, and we have to understand, as the downtown is an urban environment, it's a good, safe urban environment, and there's a little walk involved, but there's a lot to be rewarded.
But you know what? It's nice. I've been going downtown for over 20 years. Never had a problem yet. So
Well, there's a 10-year plan in place, and this committee is looking at ways to implement pieces and parts of that 10-year plan. So I think we should watch with interest over the next year to see what's happening. So.
All right, well, up next, it's winners and losers. Our panel weighs in.